It's a hot, hazy, humid summer day in early August in Lancaster County. We're looking down upon a 3-acre tobacco field. This tobacco field holds between 21,000 and 22,000 tobacco plants. Let's take a closer look at what a tobacco plant looks like. Here I'm walking through a tobacco field. The tobacco plants are 3 feet tall or so, big, broad leaf, and sticky. You touch the leaves and you wouldn't believe how the stickiness there is to them. Every acre of tobacco has between 7,000 and 7,500 plants. These were all meticulously taken care of during the growing season. Tobacco plants do go to flower. They're actually very beautiful. This tool here is a tobacco shear or tobacco lopper. The head is bent at 70 degrees so the tobacco stalk can be cut right at the ground. Let's take a look at that. Here we have the farmer lopping the tobacco off at the ground level. Notice that all the tobacco plants are falling to his left. He's leaving an aisle in there so they can walk down the aisle without stepping on plants. So the plants to his right were already lopped off by somebody coming in the opposite direction, felling them to their left also. These guys here on this day decided to do 50 tobacco plants in a row and do the field in chunks. So if there were 8 rows, they did 50 tobacco plants in each row. So that would lay them 400 tobacco plants down on the ground. I don't think this is his first rodeo here, cutting tobacco plants. Very smooth. So he had just finished a row of 50 tobacco plants. Now he's starting another row of 50. You'll see why that's important in a minute, why they do them in multiples of 5. Here's his neighbor walking down the rows, dropping a tobacco lath every 5 tobacco plants. So every 5 tobacco plants, he would drop a lath next to them. Okay. A couple other neighbors going in the opposite direction, but you notice that they're also felling the tobacco to their left, and it leaves that row opened up right down through the middle there that they can walk. Now here's a close-up of the tobacco lopper in action. You notice that he's not picking that lopper up off the ground every time, he's just sliding it along right at ground level, chopping those tobacco plants off. So it's cut and push over to the left, cut and push over to the left, over and over and over. And can you imagine doing 21,000 of those plants in your 3-acre tobacco field? This young tyke here is running back to the wagon to get some more lath. And here's the farmer that owns this tobacco. He's dropping off the lath here every 5 plants. You'll see what they're going to be doing with that in a few minutes. You're just walking down, counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, drop a lath. This young guy in front of him is a hired hand for one of the other farmers that's working here today. So on this field today, we got the farmer that owns it and 2 neighbors and a helping hand from one of those neighbors. Here we're looking down at the refreshment wagon, which is actually the wagon that they carry their supplies on. They just happen to be having some refreshments. And the host farmer usually supplies the refreshments. Here he's got a watermelon. He even brought a seedless watermelon. And I knew he grew that in his own garden. On that wagon, we have a stack of lath and spear points. In those sheaths is a metal spear point that goes. All right, here's the lath and the spear points being used. The spear point is put at the end of the lath, and every tobacco plant will be speared down through its stalk onto that lath. So the lath will hold the tobacco plant. So there you go, spearing down through the stalk, through the spear point, and it just slides right on down the lath. You'll be putting on 5 tobacco plants per lath. We've got 4 on there right now. Here's number 5. Left hand takes off the spear point, lays it down, grabs the next lath, and he starts his spearing again. Here's a close-up of it. Slow-mo, right down through the stalk. Now he wiggles that spear point. He takes that off, lays down the lath, and he starts over again. Still has a sense of humor about it, even though it's hot and humid out. I think here comes number 5. Watch his left hand. See it wiggle the spear point? Now the spear point is loose. He's picking up the lath with all the tobacco plants on it. Going to lay it down, and the spear point is still in his hand. Here we're back with another aerial view of the field, and we're looking down. Now they're starting to put the tobacco onto the tobacco wagons. So the tobacco that they've cut has all been put onto the lath. Now they're going to pick the laths up off the ground and place them onto the wagons. Let's take a closer look at what's happening down here. Picking the tobacco up off the ground. You can see it on the laths. The wagon moves ahead, and the laths are placed onto the wagon. This young man here is thirsty. He's got a big job here. He's been putting tobacco lath down. He's actually a nephew of one of these farmers. He just ran over here to do some helping that day. Get himself watered back up. He's going to run back. His job is to drive the wagon. Here we are back on the ground. Get a closer look now. They're picking up the lath off the ground. Big job for that little guy. Very labor-intensive crop. Moving the wagon forward again. Whoa! Takes all his might to slow the horses down. I don't think these guys will have to go to the gym tonight to stay in shape. Pull those reins back. Stop them horses. Now the little guy's uncle takes off with the wagon. He's going down to the farm. Let's meet him down to the farm, see what's happening down there. There's that loaded wagon. Back into the barn. Keep it out of the weather. We're going to get a little close up here of what the tobacco looks like. Every one of those plants was touched by hand. In the evenings, usually they'll take that tobacco off the wagons and hang it up into the barn. It'll be left in the barn to dry and cure. When it's ready, it'll all be taken back out of the barn and brought to a stripping room where they strip the leaves off. All the leaves are graded, put into different piles, baled, and sold to the tobacco buyer. Once a common sight in tobacco fields, the steam tractor is not much used today. In the springtime, in the past, the steam tractor would be used to sterilize the field before the tobacco was planted. But with the advent of chemicals, we no longer have to do that. This steam tractor here is actually being used after the tobacco was harvested. It's being used to kill fungus, probably, and weed seeds. But this is not a very common sight any longer. You can see the steam in front of the steam tractor here. He has plastic laid down with the steam being pumped underneath it. He's walking out to plug that leak with some dirt. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe if you're interested in more videos of this type. Thanks for coming along.